There's world-class athletes that will create a plan for when something bad happens. This is something that I never imagined I would find myself talking about as often as I do, but I realize how many people need it, and it's something that I feel so passionate about because failing these exams really doesn't mean a whole lot. It does mean a lot. I'm going to explain what it means, but it doesn't mean that you're not a great architect. It doesn't mean you're not meant to do this. And so I want to consolidate a couple quick tips and ideas and resources to help you when you're going through this so that you can stay consistent, so that you don't feel defeated, and so that you can take the exams and pass and become a licensed architect, right? Because the goal isn't just pass these exams. The goal is to become a licensed architect. And these exams are what you need to do to get there, but they're just one step of the way, and they're something that you can totally do and get through. So first off, let's just be real about it. Failing the exams is such a common experience for so many architects. Once people are licensed, they're not going to talk about their fails. And honestly, I would say most architects probably don't even remember how many exams they failed. Even me, I talk about my experience all the time. I talk about failing the exams all the time. And still to this day, I have to stop and think and be like, how many did I fail? Oh yeah, I did that one. Okay, that one. You know what I mean? But when you're in it, it can feel so monumental and so overwhelmingly heavy. So I just want to start off letting you know that it's such a common experience. You're not the only one, and one day it will feel so much smaller than it does feel right now. So let's just use basic statistics. According to NCARB, the last time they came out with their pass rates, the pass rate was an average of 55%. So, I talk about this before. If you haven't heard me talk about it, this is such a great statistic to pay attention to because it's literally showing us that half of the people are failing. And I will say too that statistic isn't even not totally accurate, but it doesn't really tell us the full story because people are included in that who have taken that exam before, right? So, you could have taken it 1,000 times, you know what I mean? It's that pass rate. People come from all different backgrounds, experiences, have taken exams before, all that kind of stuff. And it shows us that when you're going through the exams, there's 6 exams, you are likely, based on statistics, to fail at least one of those exams. Really, honestly, at least 2 or 3. And so when you go into the process knowing that this is the reality, it changes your expectations. Now, of course, it's important to go in with confidence and empowerment so that you can pass. However, when we go in with the expectation that, hey, not everyone passes on their first try, then if and when that does happen, then our expectations are, hey, okay, I already knew that this was a likely possibility. And because I already know it's a likely possibility, I already have steps in place in order to help me move forward for when that happens. And that's one of the biggest things that you can do that can help is you create a plan. There's world-class athletes that will create a plan for when something bad happens or for when something good happens. I once heard of this story about Michael Phelps, and they would do visualizations about their swim meets, and visualization for visualizing essentially what is going to happen can actually change the outcome and your performance when you go into it. So Michael Phelps would do these exercises where he's visualizing winning his meets or matches or whatever you call them in swim. But he would also visualize when things would go wrong. So visualize something bad happen. I'm pretty sure, I have to check in on the story, but I'm pretty sure he even visualized his nose cap thing coming off or something like that. And then when he was in the meet, that ended up happening. But because he had visualized it before, he already had a plan of action of what to do when that happened so that it didn't totally defeat him. And he ended up winning crazily, like, of course he would. But the idea is that, say you don't create a plan of action for something going wrong. When that happens, our brains can quickly go into defeat mode, where we have already given up and we have already accepted a fail, even if it doesn't even mean a fail. So imagine Michael Phelps, he, hadn't planned for anything like that. He had basically just planned for, I'm gonna win. And then something like that happens where he loses the nose thing. I'm not a swimmer. And in his mind, he goes, oh my gosh, I just lost this entire meet because that just happened. So what do? You basically, your body starts shutting down. You start swimming slower. You start just not really caring. Now, the same thing could be for the exams. Say you get in there and your first 3 questions are questions that you literally you don't even know the words that they're asking. You're like, I did not even see this in my study material. So what we can do is, if we haven't planned for that, we haven't created a plan of action, then what happens is that when that happens, we go into defeat mode. We go into telling ourselves, you know what? It's done. I've already failed. I just got to get through this, but and then as you're going through it, you keep remembering those exam questions. Like, if only I would have known those questions. And so what you're doing is you're ruminating over what didn't go how you wanted it, but you're also sabotaging the rest of your exam because your focus isn't on that. You're not tapping into what you really know and the information that will help you succeed. You're focusing on what has gone wrong or not to what you expected. But if you can come up with a plan for that, so if you come up with a plan for, okay, what am I going to do if I get a question that's totally out of left field and I have no idea what it's asking me? What's going to be my action steps? What am I going to do if I get a really long calculation question and it's going to take me like 15 minutes to do all these calcs? What am I going to do? And so when that does happen, you already know what your action steps are going to be.